John Travolta has been one of the biggest actors for the last 50 years, but he has an extremely controversial faith, and because of that, he's being blamed for the death of his son. John Travolta's career started when he was 16 years old, starring in the high school production of Bye Bye Birdie, which inspired him to become an actor, so he dropped out of high school in his junior year. Many people would call that a bad decision. John Travolta was able to land work early on, where he was 17 years old. He got cast in the show Emergency for a guest episode and got his first movie, The Devil's Rain, when he was just 20. But while he was doing the movie The Devil's Rain, he met this woman right here, actress Joan Prather, who recommended he join the Church of Scientology and gave him a book on Dianetics. L. Ron Hubbard was the creator of Dianetics, which made the false claim that humans can reach a state of mental clarity which will allow them to cure all disease and live forever. In the 1950s, it gained a movement where L. Ron Hubbard became one of the highest paid speakers in the United States and had his highest crowd ever be 6,000 people who came to learn about Dianetics. Then things got bad for L. Ron Hubbard when his ex-wife Margaret Grubb came out saying that L. Ron was absolutely insane and she tried to have him committed during their marriage. L. Ron Hubbard had another wife named Sarah Hollister who tried to get him committed, and because of that he kidnapped their 1-year-old daughter, and he also cheated on her with an employee. Because of all this, L. Ron Hubbard shut down his Dianetics Foundation but instead decided to found the Church of Scientology. Scientology was a scam for L. Ron Hubbard not to pay taxes and also at the same time make a lot of money, where he was paid $250,000 in 1957, which would be $2.7 million today. The entire claim of Scientology came from an even crazier form of Dianetics, where they said humans are an alien race that was sent to Earth and they have to regain their spirituality through Scientology. And the way John Travolta got involved in Scientology was L. Ron Hubbard intentionally recruited them with the idea that if they got celebrities involved, more people would join. And the reason a lot of celebrities got into Scientology was because many religions were going against Hollywood, but at the same time, Scientology was openly encouraging them to get famous and wealthy. Because of John Travolta's rising fame, Scientologists were so happy to get him involved that they even gave him a personal assistant named Sylvia Taylor, who was supposed to guide him through the faith. Numerous celebrities have had their lives ruined over the years from Scientology, like Nancy Cartwright, the voice of Bart Simpson, who's donated $23 million to the church. Others like Tom Cruise have had 3 marriages end because of Scientology and is no longer allowed to see his youngest daughter. And John Travolta's also faced a lot of issues where many people believe he's in the closet for being gay, where his assistant came out saying he had a 6-year relationship with his pilot, but it was covered up by the Church of Scientology. The reason is, for decades, L. Ron Hubbard was actually very homophobic and used the Church of Scientology to go against homosexuality, saying it was a form of mental illness. That wasn't the only issue John Travolta faced with the Church of Scientology, where the church teaches that autism doesn't exist, but John Travolta had a son named Jet who was autistic. Jet Travolta also faced the issue he was an epileptic and would have an epilepsy every few days. Reported by former aides of John Travolta that because he was a Scientologist, he rejected a lot of Western medicine, so he would never actually recognize his son as being autistic and also wouldn't get him treated properly for the epilepsies. And during a family trip to the Bahamas, Jet Travolta did end up dying from an epilepsy, which is considered very young for an epileptic to die, even if severe. After his son died, John Travolta ended up in a $25 million lawsuit where 2 people accused John Travolta of trying to send his kid to the airport instead of the Bahamas hospital to get care at a Scientologist clinic, and he accused them of extortion. John Travolta only recognized his son as being autistic after he died, and because of that he had pressure put on by the Church of Scientology, almost banned him. John Travolta did confirm afterwards he was giving his son medications for the epilepsies, even though it went against the Church of Scientology, but many people believe he wasn't giving the proper medications. I do believe John Travolta loved his son, but he's also culted into this religion, which could have impacted his son's life, and with that, I'm Charles Prowl. Please subscribe if you learned something.